There's me, there's us. There's them. We live in Dorset. So that's me, that's her, that's them. And together we are the Bear Fam. Hey, happy Saturday morning to you, Bear Fam. How are you? It's beautifully sunny. There is a nip to the air. But all in all, very beautiful. Haven't hit the top of the hill yet, so my mood may change. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about me today. Something really struck me yesterday, Friday. Baby Bear had to go and have a lateral flow COVID test before going back to school. And I was really shocked. She's had 2 tests already, so one at hospital when she had a gallbladder out, and then one we took together in a car park when we had a cough and we were a bit concerned. So it's not like she's not had one before. Her and her mates were so anxious. There were phone calls backwards and forwards. I mean, there was the normal teenage, what shall we wear? What time are we meeting? I can expect that, but just the anxiety levels just for going to the school property. And as we drove along the road, getting nearer and nearer, I could see from her body language and from her tics just how anxious she was. And you know, she wasn't particularly talkative about it, but there was a comment she kept making about, I don't think I can do it if there's a teacher watching me. And it was like, to me it was like, what? But when you dig down deeper, these kids are really, really anxious about going back to school. If you think back to going back to school in September, when you were a youngster, there was always a trepidation. There was always anxiety, apprehension, just because it was, I don't know, you'd had 6 weeks off and you hadn't been in that environment for a while. But these kids have had months off, and then not just months off, but over the course of the last year, their lives have been literally turned upside down. Now, Ellie had her anxiety issues prior to all of this. So, why I'm surprised, I shouldn't be, should I? But, I'm sorry if the wind's going to interfere. I had to get this off my chest, and I didn't really want to do it where she's earwigging. Plus I'm huffing and puffing because I'm climbing a hill. Oh Lord. And my arm's out in the air. Yeah. For an old fart like me, when you hold your arm out as you walk, whether it's because the blood's got to pump uphill, I don't know, but you know. She's just, and I think us adults, I mean, a lot of us will have felt the anxiety, and part of me is like, in a weird way, being happy that more of the population have experienced mental health and how it can impact on your life. Because if you've never suffered with anxiety or depression or any of these things, there are a lot of, I want to say disbelievers, non-believers, I don't know. I know my ex is totally like, it's all in your head. Well, I know it's all in my head, but not in a good way. He's all in your head. It was, it's just like, put up, shut up, get on with it. Which I did for years. Which is partially why I had such a big problem in the end when I fell off my perch. I just wanted to say to you all, if you've got kids, please don't underestimate the way they're feeling. As an adult, we're very much used to the stress element and then thinking, right, well, if I do X, Y, Z, I'll get over that. And, you know, for years, if there was a stressy situation, I don't know, an interview with somebody I don't really want to interview, or going on a drugs raid early in the morning when you weren't sure what was going to be on the other side of the door, or going to a sudden death or a fatal road accident when you knew there was going to be things that you didn't want to see or deal with. So we're used to that ability to just get on with it. They're not. They haven't had that. They've had a cotton wool existence, so to speak. They've been padded. They've been shielded by us. And I know Ellie's getting to the age where she'll be shoved out in the world. I mean, my first job was at 16, and she's 16 this September. So part of me's like, well, it's life, and she's going to have to learn to deal with it. But there are a lot of kids out there that will be feeling the way Ellie feels, who will be happy and excited, but you can be happy, excited and anxious. Cyclists. I really really don't like cyclists, especially on my hill. Go somewhere else. I am such a miserable cow. Oh, and he's got lycra on. I especially hate cyclists with lycra, especially the ones that shouldn't ever even look at lycra, let alone wear it. People with bums the same size as mine. I shouldn't make lycra that size, and then people wouldn't wear it. And now the school know that Ellie has issues. They know she's got this Tourette's thing hanging around. They know, but nobody's reached out to her and said, well, why don't you come straight here first thing in the morning, and then we can... Nobody's done that. Nobody... I think the thing I'm trying to say, and I've been saying it even before COVID, is that schools don't deal with mental health issues in kids. They just don't. There's nothing in place, well, not in our school anyway, for people that are struggling. I mean, they tell me, when you talk to them about it, it's like, oh yes there is, there's a Senko and this and that and the other. But, oh, sorry, wind. There is nothing, there's so much in the media these days about mental health and let's get talking, and the kids see all this, but they don't see it in practice. It's all very well putting out adverts and all these celebrities banging on and banging the drum. Who's actually using the bloody drum? Nobody. Ellie's been waiting since September for an appointment for CAMS to go and see somebody to try and sort, or at least talk her through, what's going on with these tics. The GP just sits there nodding his head and then looking very much like, oh, I don't know, ask me one on sport. I asked him if we could be referred to the paediatrician that she was seeing for her anxiety and various other things, and he was like, oh, I don't think they'll accept that. And we were there the other day because she's got residual issues with her gallbladder area, and he was like, oh, I'm very surprised that they've given you an appointment. Thankfully they have, but that's June. We're in March. So if the schools aren't helping parents, it's down to us. And God knows it's difficult enough dealing with our own mental health, let alone knowing how to deal with a child. So I guess all I can say to you is talk, support, love conquers all. Well, I don't think it does, but it's a bloody great big step in the right direction. And a hug, and at least saying to them, I understand that you've got, things to deal with, will go a long way. Don't leave them out in the cold thinking that there's something wrong with them for feeling that way. I wish to God somebody had reached out to me at work and said to me, it's normal. You're going to feel this, this and this. How about trying mindfulness? How about trying... But nobody does. Everybody clams up about it and treats you like you're an alien. I remember having time off for stress and anxiety, and GP put me on antidepressants and whatever. And I remember going back to work and my supervisor being really surprised that, I was back at work and on these meds. And about 3 months down the line, probably longer actually, we were having a review and he said to me, I presume you're not on those tablets anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I've been on them. In fact, it was over a year. Yeah, I've been on them ever since. And he was like, oh, we need to look back through your caseload and make sure that there are no loopholes as a result of, you know. And I'm like, right, so because I've been on antidepressants and because you now think I'm a Fruit Loop, you think that all the cases I've dealt with that you've signed off on are needing looking at just in case the nutter's got it wrong. And the reason I recount that is because if that can happen in a professional organisation, and this was, I mean, I appreciate I've been gone a while, so a couple of years ago, I mean, things might be different now. You know, mental health is still seen as something. I mean, I know all these bangs are being drummed. All these drums are being banged. But until we walk the walk as opposed to just talking the talk, things won't change. And kids that have gone through what they've gone through for the last year, they need something in their lives. They need somebody coming in and talking to them and just saying to them about all the things you can do to, you know, try and help. Journaling, talking, art. You know, painting is helping me enormously. Vlogging. Don't have to publish it, you just make a video diary. Look, the wind is blowing and I'm going up to the top of the hill now, so you probably won't hear me. But the point I wanted to make is please support your children. Please don't just take the excitement and the happiness as being the overwhelming and the only emotion they're experiencing. They're anxious. They're feeling trepidation that they might not understand. Their world has been turned upside down that many times that they're also going to be expecting anything's possible now. You know, normality used to be X, Y, Z, that's all that's ever going to happen. Now they know different things can happen. Now they know that the world can be turned upside down and they need your support to deal with that. I hear motorbikes. Oh, and I see the dickhead. Sorry, there's a bloke up here that's always has a go at me. Right, I'm going to hang up for a minute. Anyway, from the top of the hill in Dorset, where there's nobody, I have it to myself. Yay! As they say on ITV, and Ant and Dec say, love Dec. Get talking, please. The very least, and the only skill that we've really got to our hand, is to talk to these kids. Maybe, you know, do some art with them. Get them drawing a picture about how they feel about going back to school. Introduce them to the idea of keeping a diary. A friend once taught me a really good technique that I do, is that sit on the bed with your kid every night and ask them, you know, what was the best part of the day? Anything come up that you want to talk about? Just like almost affirming all the good stuff and trying to dissipate any worries they have before they go to bed. Yeah, I'm no expert, but the one thing I know for sure is that not addressing it, ignoring it, is the worst possible thing you can do. So from somebody that's been there to somebody that's trying to deal with it for themselves, both personally and for their kid, please, you know, just don't ignore it. Anyway, Bear Fam, I'm sending you love. To those of you that subscribe and come to me on a regular basis, thank you. Bear Fam, I love you. And to those that might just be here because it's a different subject to normal, thank you. And take care of yourselves and each other. Get talking, and I might catch you soon. Sending you love.